So satsang is a response from consciousness to your calling. Consciousness recognizes your love, and the recognition of your love is satsang. So satsang is a meeting in love, a meeting where you can be with yourself in the peace and the tranquility, in the recognition of the peace and the tranquility that you are. Our inner heart, our inner being is peace, tranquility, happiness, freedom. Oh, one moment, please. Yes, there is a problem with the Hangouts. I think it's limited to probably 10 or 12 people. It's the first time that I have this problem, so I'm really sorry, Jenny. So Dolores, please make sure you mute your mic.
Oh, it was muted.
Okay, thank you. Okay, one moment, please. You think you could send a message to Jenny, tell her to try again. She's trying to join, but it says it's full. So send her, I think she's on, yeah, right, thank you.
Magdi.
Yes, Dolores.
I tried to get back on it. It said the thing was full, but I kept trying. So I think it has a limited number that can be on.
Yes, yes. So our true nature is peace and happiness. So you could, in a way, consider that there is a layer, a surface layer of activity, and somehow we've been living just at that surface layer. And through grace, there has been a bubble. There has been consciousness has bubbled up from the depth of the ocean and has revealed a totally different dimension than the dimension of the mind, the dimension of the personal self, my life and my personal concerns. It is this revelation, this insight into grace that shifts the entire dynamics of your life. It shifts the entire dynamics of your life towards a more joyful direction, but it might not be immediate. There is a path, there is a process of investigation and inquiry that will lead you to the full revelation of consciousness. If you get the message from consciousness, a message that comes from the beyond, not a message that comes through the mind, it is very important that you do not ignore it. It's very important that you honor it, you recall it, you explore it, like when you perceive someone that you love, it is important that you do not forget them, that you take a picture of them and keep it by your bedside to recollect your loved one. In your initial exploration of the truth, it is that way. It's very important that you recollect the revelation that has come to you. It is this recollection that opens the pathway from the sense of limitation to the openness of being, to the freedom, to the peace, to the happiness. It is very important that you do not forget your true love, which is the love for truth, not a love for any object, not the love for any person, but your love for truth that appears as all forms, but the source of your love for any form is love itself. At the mind level, sometimes we confuse the freedom of love, the universality of love, with an object. And so there is this tendency to grasp and to reach for a form. It's part of the process by which the self, the separate self, maintains itself. Because at the core of your understanding, there is a misunderstanding. At the core of your source of action, there is a misunderstanding. The misunderstanding is that you are a mortal body mind, that you are a person, that you are a limited self. And it is that sense of limitation, it is that limited self that grasps, that is trying to become whole, is trying to become complete, wants to return home, wants to return to its true nature. But it's confused because it's starting with the confusion that it is an object. You are starting with the confusion that you are an object, that you are a man and a woman, or a woman. And from that confusion, you perceive your happiness, you perceive your wholeness, you perceive your freedom as being in accumulating experiences, or accumulating objects, or accumulating relationships, or accumulating attaining some phenomenal experience. But when you are pursuing something that is fleeting, that is impermanent, you cannot reach what is permanent. You cannot reach peace and happiness by pursuing worldly experiences. Now the question is how to reverse this process, how to come to sanity. Because it is important to come to sanity and to live out of sanity, out of true wisdom and understanding. It's important that you explore the belief system. And it's important you explore the feeling systems that compose the separate self, the sense that I am a limited consciousness. Now, exploring the belief systems and exploring the feeling structures does not mean managing them. There is a difference between trying to soften and sweeten your feelings, trying to sort of manage your thoughts and your beliefs in order to feel better as a person. There is a difference between this sort of massaging of the feelings and massaging of the thoughts and a true contemplation, a true exploration. In your contemplation and exploration of the feeling states and the belief systems, you have to be audacious and courageous, and you have to be honest and frank with yourself. You have to be really careful that you're not going in order to accumulate more experiences, in order to accumulate better feelings. You are going in for the truth, for the revelation of the truth, for the complete revelation of the truth. It is an exploration of yourself with yourself. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It is not about proving anything to anybody or showing anybody your smarts or your attainment or your achievements or how enlightened you are. It has nothing to do with that. It is strictly an inquiry of yourself, with yourself, by yourself, to come to the truth of what you truly are. Deep down you know that there is a reality, a higher reality than the thought, than what thought says. Because thought appears to you. Therefore there is thought and there is you, meaning you as consciousness, you as presence, you as awareness that perceives the thought. So no matter what the thought says, or no matter what shape or form the thought takes, there is a reality that perceives the thought. There is a space, a borderless space. There is an awareness, a presence that perceives that thought. That presence is not a thought. It is not an object that is perceived. It is the perceiver of objects, the perceiver of forms, the perceiver of thoughts, the perceiver of sensations and feelings. So the contemplation is the contemplation of consciousness, not the contemplation of the images that appear on the screen, but the contemplation of that does not appear. But yet, in spite of its non-appearance, it is the reality of your perception, it's the reality of all experiences. Because right now, in this very moment, this perception appears to you, you as consciousness. Without you as consciousness, there would be no perception, no sensation, no thought. Thoughts come and go. Perceptions are constantly changing. Bodily sensations are constantly shifting. But no matter how they shift and how they morph and how they appear and how they transform, they do so in the open space of awareness. The open space of awareness that right now hears these words. You, the true you, is not an object that is perceived. It's not a form that is appearing. It is that perceives all forms. So recognize the consciousness that you are, rather than recognizing simply what's appearing on the screen, feelings and emotions, sensations, memories. They come and go, they're a dime a dozen. It's very important that you recognize that does not come and go. That you recognize that does not appear, but yet is the reality of all appearances. It is not a concept. Concepts appear in that reality, the reality of awareness, the reality of consciousness, the reality of presence. Consciousness is the reality of all concepts, the reality of all sensations, the reality of all mentation. It is what is truly hearing these words right now. And in simpler terms, it is you. You are hearing these words. Now, sometimes there is a confusion between you as consciousness and the body. It might be helpful to simply consider that the body is a wonderful instrument, a tool designed by God to celebrate, God's magnificence and omnipotence. Why not? After all, if you just contemplate the galaxy, how the galaxies are moving and imploding and exploding, and if you contemplate an atom or a proton and the zillion of protons that are in an atom, if you contemplate this immense intelligence that appears just in the breath or in the blood flow, you keep trying. Tell them, keep trying. So the body mind is a wonderful instrument. But it is not the body that perceives. It's very important to understand that. It is not the eyes that perceive. It is not the ears that hear. It is consciousness that perceives. Through the instrument, for example, it perceives, the instrument of the eyes, it perceives trees and it perceives a table. Through the ears, it can listen, hear the birds and perceives the music. But it's not the instrument that perceives, it's not the tool that perceives. Perception is from beyond the mind. And this beyond, which is consciousness that perceives all perceptions, is you. Is not limited by any instrument, is not limited by any phenomenal appearance. After all, what is the world body mind without consciousness? Ask yourself that question. What is a tree without consciousness? What is a thought without consciousness? Meaning when you perceive a tree, it is through consciousness that you perceive the tree. Because if you remove the tree, consciousness stays. But if you remove consciousness, there is no tree. That applies to a thought, it applies to a feeling, to a sensation. So the impressions of time and space, which are the impressions, the mind impressions, arise in the timelessness of consciousness, the eternity of consciousness. That is the true perceiver. That is the reality of all perceptions. Michael, Ananda, hello. I just read your question.
Yes.
And if you don't mind, I will address it.
Okay, it's quite a jump from what you were just saying to the to this issue.
Well,
Quite a jump into the realm of ego and emotions, whatever.
yeah, you know, it's all one ocean, Ananda. You know, the world, body, mind is consciousness, dream, and it's a gift that allows us to navigate our way to God. It allows us to navigate our way to the beyond. So the world, body, mind are seamless. There is a seamlessness
I can
between the
see you
world,
much
body,
better
mind.
now that a light came on your board.
Something is happening here on my page.
And I can see your eyes. I can see your face well now.
Okay.
It's great. If there's some kind of a light in front of you, that's a good thing for us.
Okay. Oh, I see. I see. Okay. I will take care of that next time. But in this case, on my screen went blank. So does everybody still see me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let me see. The screen is coming back on. There is some sort of problem, but I'm going to continue to.
We can see you.
Okay.
And hear you.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for this for the input. I do not. I somehow something is happening on the screen.
Now the picture's frozen. I don't know if you can hear me. From here, there's no there's a frozen picture.
The picture is frozen here too.
Yeah, here too.
And no sound of Magdi.
He just left the call.
I think he was dropped. Yeah, he rejoined.
I can see you and
Hear me?
Now you're back.
Okay, okay. Something occurred and I lost. Okay.
Welcome back.
Okay, there was. Thank you. Something occurred. I don't know what glitch, but we're back. And I also all the chat messages that were there are no longer on my screen. Are they still on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, I just somehow everything got deleted on my screen. But I do recall, I think, I sort of do recall your question.
Shall I read it? It's Shall I read it?
Yes, yes. And I think Tommy, yes, if you could read it.
Regarding my property money dispute, of which we spoke earlier, if I am fundamentally non-agitated by the story, by the situation, then will the drive to seek resolution survive, and I take care of it?
You know, there are two levels to dimensions to this, the seeking resolution. One is on the relative level and the other is on the absolute, and there is a way of reconciling them. On the relative level, meaning the waking dream level, there is a certain order. There are certain ways in which people behave with each other, some reasonable and sweet and intelligent ways, and some are much less so. And of course, we here as truth lover, we do our best to live in the waking dream in a gentle, sweet, understanding, fair, reasonable, loving, comprehensive manner. This does not mean that you sort of say yes to everything. If somebody is coming to steal your car, you're gonna do something about it. Whether you're going to question what they're doing or you're going to call for assistance, you're going to do something about it, and that's the intelligent thing to do. It's just there is a certain order to. Now, if it's in your heart that you consider your car being stolen as your contribution to the lesser fortunate folks, on this planet, then of course you follow your heart and you wish them safe journey, and you make sure you even give them the title of the vehicle, because this way they'll be able to drive it safely. Why not? If it's in your heart, it's beautiful. But in most cases, there is a certain way of behaving that if somebody's standing on your foot, you're going to say, "Excuse me, please, you're standing on my foot." And if they don't hear you, could be that they're deaf. Who knows? I mean, you don't know. You're going to move them off your foot. So that's, on the relative level, it's really important to act, and your actions can come from a contraction. Oh my God, what's happening to me? Okay, what are they doing to me? Or it can come from a broader perspective. Now, the broader perspective is a perspective that takes consciousness in consideration, meaning there is an understanding that whatever is happening is not happening to you as a person, and it's not coming at you from another person. That what's happening to you is happening to consciousness, and it's coming from consciousness. Consciousness tweaking itself. And in general, it tweaks itself, it sort of speaks to itself, it does things to itself with one general aim in mind. Okay? It's actually a little bit broader than that. But basically, at the core, consciousness is trying to bring you back home, meaning to wake itself back, wake itself from the dream, to come to its full expression, to its full revelation. It wants to sort of take a deep breath and clear its lungs. That's what consciousness is doing. And it does that in the world via these interactions. It is not trying to punish you, and it's not bringing a bad guy to do something bad to you. That's not what it's about. It's an invitation. It's always an invitation in the moment, because consciousness never ceases to invite you to contemplate, to reflect, and to act up from a place that comes to understanding. Now, this does not mean that if you don't act from a place of complete understanding, it's a bad thing. Not at all. It's a process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a work in progress anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we learn as we go along. We learn that, you know, when we put our hand on the hot radiator, we're gonna go ouch. So we learn as we go along how to interact. Now, it's really important in all relationships that you have a broad perspective and not just a me perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That you take in account possibilities that you don't know. We don't know. You are in your openness, and you're open. You're listening. You're listening, and you're also expressing yourself from a place of listening.
Oh, that's interesting. Expressing from a place of listening.
Absolutely.
Openness, the openness of listening.
Yes, it's from the openness of listening that you can speak, because listening is borderless. So you can listen in the space, what's being shared and what's coming, you know, what seemingly is coming through you. It's also you hear it and you speak it. In a way, it's effortless. It's effortless when you sort of relax in the presence. When you relax in the presence, then there is nothing that you need to do in order to express yourself. It's as if the universe is expressing itself through you.
Yes.
Right. Now, it's very important also to be fair. To be fair towards others and to be fair towards yourself.
Yes.
You are not a sacrificial lamb.
Right.
Nor is the other somebody for you to abuse. Yeah. There has to be a fairness, an understanding, and a willingness to use a different approach than just the standard approach. Now, the standard approach might be your first reaction, if it comes from fear, for example. But if it does not come from fear, then it's a different thing.
For example, the idea I'm being ripped off.
Yeah, the idea I'm being ripped off is that's a limited point of view.
Yes.
That is that's a conclusion. There is very little openness in that. In the same time, there is an awareness that there is some payments and some money and some debt that is due to you.
Yes.
And so there is a request for that and a pursuit of that.
Yes.
And in the case where there isn't the receptivity on the other side, and you've exhausted all the avenues, then you follow. If it's, I think I did mention to you, I usually don't like going the legal route, but it could be your last avenue is to go the legal route. And sometimes you make a compromise. You make a compromise. You might not walk away with all what is owed to you, but you know you compromise. Sometimes it's smarter to reach a compromise than to go the legal route, because you might spend much more out of your fortune or out of what's owed to you.
Yes. Even logistically or practically.
Well, right. Also at the emotional level, it's
I see.
So coming back to looking at it from a different perspective, from a higher perspective, which in a way I'm mixing both perspectives, is that what really matters as well is that in your contemplation of what's happening to you in your life, that you also take your stand as consciousness. That you are this presence, you are the presence, you are the intelligence, you're the awareness, you are the beingness, which is the love, you're the love, you are love. And to celebrate the love, that's really what your heart loves, what you truly love. Anyways, that's talking besides the issue, because your question is a very practical question, and I think it's important that you don't ignore it and you don't bypass it, that you deal with it. Mm-hmm. And you do your best, and definitely don't play the regret game.
That's it. If I come to, I'm coming almost to the end of possible ways of even forcing a resolution. Mm-hmm. If I don't see a way that will actually have a result, then it's a loss and a move on from here situation.
Well, well, once you've exhausted all the avenues that are available to you, mm-hmm. then you let it go. Mm-hmm. Of course, you do your best, you reason, you talk to the person, you try to reach their sense of compassion and their sense of fairness and equity.
Yes.
So it's important that you address them as consciousness. Not you don't address them as, oh my God, you're the person who is ripping me off. Mm-hmm. And you'd be surprised, because this person is consciousness. It's consciousness that's shining through this person in a moment of forgetfulness. Mm-hmm. This person has sort of, mm-hmm. contracted and is in fear, and is grasping and mm-hmm. holding. Mm-hmm. And you approach them as consciousness, and even though it might not reach the results that you are hoping, which is that they open up and they see the fairness, yes. and the injustice, for example, that they're doing, mm-hmm. even if that does not happen, you also let that go. It's, in a way, it is, sometimes there is a seed that's planted that mm-hmm. will only germinate, who knows when it will germinate.
Oh my gosh, stories, I mean, I can easily imagine a story of some other, some way that it balances in fairness over time, mm-hmm. or mm-hmm. something. Mm-hmm. But, and so there it's a matter of trust that things do work out.
Yeah, you can consider like consciousness is like the ocean, and the ocean is so vast, and in some places there is a storm, and the waves are, and 200 miles away or whatever, 1,000 miles away, it's tranquil, but it's all this one ocean, mm-hmm. which is what I am. I am this consciousness. So yes, there are places of conflict and concern, but you take a broader view. I mean, of course, again, repeat that you deal with the situation as best as you can. Mm-hmm. You call into the sense of fairness and equity in the other. You approach them as consciousness, from consciousness to consciousness. Mm-hmm. You reason with them as best as you can. You can I
bring up something? I don't want to take this so much into the relative, but just one more point. I have the option of possibly not collecting the money, or of threatening. I can have the person probably evicted from the property, probably cause them to lose the property, but without my gaining anything from it, except having done that.
Yeah.
This is a weird one in terms
Yeah.
of
No, if there is nothing
for me to
that you're,
gain.
that you're getting out of that,
Yeah,
that I don't
doesn't feel
see
right.
that. Yeah, I don't see that. I
The
would.
thing is, there is in that threat to do so, there is a certain leverage, and otherwise, I have found no other leverage.
Okay, well, I mean, okay, if there is again, if there is a leverage,
Yeah,
then it's an action that's worth considering.
yeah.
Maybe I misunderstood you. If I thought there was no leverage, but if there
Well,
is
the
a
only
leverage,
leverage is that
oh
it
yeah,
changes the person's.
sure, absolutely. If there is a leverage, then I would follow. I would pursue that road after having exhausted all reasonable means of communication. Yes, absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. Because in a way, it's sometimes it's a very good teaching. The the bitter medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not an intentional harm, but it is an action that you're doing that is part of what is available to you as leverage to recover part of the debt that's owed to you. Then yes, that makes
Now,
sense.
for me, this is kind of a grandiose thing, but it's in a way I feel like Arjuna, where Krishna says, "You're not even doing it. If this is what happens, then this is what happens."
Oh yeah, it is all consciousness, and difficult experiences that we have in our lives. We all had them, and we all learned from them.
Yeah.
There is a ripening process through hardships. So it's not that you're intending to cause harm to anybody. That's not the intention. But difficulties that happens in people's lives can come from a situation like that is created through their ignorant actions, and it's important for the fruit of their actions for them to experience that, the difficulty that they will have in their life as a result of their ignorant action is part of the teaching. I would not deprive them of that.
It's really about love from the depths or the.
Yes, it's all love. It's all love, and you approach this person in so many different ways. It's just you open as many doors as you can, and that is another one of the doors that you're opening. Is that okay? There is a certain eviction pressure that can be placed on you where you could lose a property, and okay, look deeper. It's an invitation for them to even look deeper. Yes. Yeah. Okay, Michael. Well, thank you for your question. It's
thank you so much,
and good luck with you. For you with this.
Thank you.
Situation. Sure.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Sure. Beautiful. Tommy, I noticed you have a question. Are you still on here? Are you here, Tommy?
Hello, here I am.
Hello, Tommy. Hello. I'm going to read your question, yeah? And maybe you can help me with it. How does it fit? The question goes, how does it fit with the pantheist perspective? What is the meaning of pantheist, Tommy?
It is, I think, the belief that the universe itself is the entity we know as God.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Matter, energy, intelligence, complexity. Personally, I believe we are figments of the universe. Energy encased in matter. Perhaps with love you can make his gain your own. Oh, I see. Okay, this was a
comment.
A comment. I see a comment. To Ananda, can you see Tommy's comment?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. So it's not a question; it's just a comment to Ananda. But maybe I could make a comment, Tommy, if you don't mind, to what you just wrote.
Go ahead.
You said personally, I believe we are figments of the universe.
Yes.
Energy encasing matter. The universe is our figment. We are not a figment of the universe. The universe is our figment, is a figment of our imagination. The universe is experienced. Now it depends what you mean by universe. If by universe you mean consciousness, then yes, I would fully agree that we, meaning this world, body, mind experience, is a figment of consciousness. But if I'm sorry?
As I have seen it, in my own mind, perhaps that energy is consciousness, and that the universe is recreating itself in smaller packages.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have the ability to see and describe and explore, which the universe doesn't. Well, it does through us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does through us, but through us as what? That's the key. I mean, through us as what? Through us as minds, or through us as consciousness?
Yeah, that's it. Through conscious energy, perhaps.
Yeah, you could say that consciousness is conscious energy. But energy is still a diminutive, diminutive of consciousness, because consciousness is undefinable in any terms that at the mind level. It
Yes.
defines itself. Its the definition of consciousness is consciousness itself. Energy is still like a slightly step away, a step downstream from consciousness. So energy still refers to a certain extent to the conceptual realm of matter and forces and distances, and it's still in the manifest realm.
Perhaps energy is to consciousness what the body is to the brain. I don't know.
The body and the brain are interconnected. There isn't a body without a brain, or a brain without a body. It's a system. It's a comprehensive system. So energy is to consciousness what the body and the brain are to consciousness. Meaning, energy is not is still at the phenomenal level, and it's you have to, in order to distinguish between energy and the body, for example, or energy and the brain, you're just going to different levels of expression of the same phenomena. Meaning, you're going from the abstract to the more concrete. Let's say the abstract being energy and the concrete being the body, but you're still in the same realm of phenomena. You're still in the same phenomenal realm. So both energy and the body are both phenomenal, and while consciousness is non-phenomenal. So both the brain, the body, and energy are in the phenomenal realm, a different vibrational level, let's say, while consciousness is beyond all vibrational levels and is what makes all vibrational levels possible.
Ah, I see I'm going to have to think on this one.
Okay. There is a question that a friend has sent me, and if you don't mind, I'm going to take this opportunity to
Go right ahead.
Answer this question. So the question is, I want to know if it is possible for you to talk about loneliness. I've been trying to meet this loneliness and boredom because I keep myself busy to avoid loneliness. This feels like the worst thing to meet. I'm now with it and have met it before. Before it felt like terror, but today the loneliness has a different flavor. And just, I would appreciate your comments. Okay, so now loneliness and boredom relate to a person. It's very, very important that you understand that. Loneliness and boredom relate to a person, meaning loneliness and boredom arise in your space when and as you assume yourself to be a man, a woman, to be an object in time and space. Loneliness and boredom do not appear to consciousness. Consciousness is never bored and never lonely. It is the person that experiences loneliness, boredom, fear, and all the negative emotions. It is inevitable whenever you mistake consciousness to be a person, whenever you mistake consciousness to be a phenomenal event, whenever you mistake consciousness to be limited to any form, it is inevitable that you experience a contraction, a sense of emptiness, but an emptiness that is not a happy emptiness, a sense of lack, a sense of incompleteness. And it's inevitable for you to be striving in the world to fill this emptiness, to seek happiness in objects, in relationships, in situations, in addictions, habits. If you are truly interested in the question of loneliness and boredom, you need to contemplate the self. You need to inquire into your assumptions, into your belief structures, that you are a woman, that you are a man, that you are a mother, that you're a daughter, that you're a sister, that you are a body mind, that you are a phenomenal event. You need to contemplate consciousness. You need to contemplate that all experiences that arise in your space arise in the open presence, arise in awareness, arise to you as consciousness. That there are images on the screen and on the mirror, like reflections in the mirror, and that you are the screen and not images that are appearing on the screen. And that these images that appear on the screen do not stain, do not affect the screen, like in your night dream. when you are dreaming all sorts of events, earthquakes and fires and walking on the beach and swimming and being wet, you wake up totally untouched and unaffected. You are not wet. You have no bruises on your body. If you were in a fire in your night dream, you're untouched. Similarly, in your waking state, there is the impression that all sorts of things are happening to you, but nothing is happening to you. You as consciousness. In the night dream, you might be a 12-year-old boy chased by a lion, and the lion scratches you, but you are not scratched when you wake up. There is no scratch on your body. In the waking state, in this waking state that we're sharing right now, a lion can come and can scratch you, but you wake up and nothing has happened to you. You as consciousness. In the night dream, you wake up as the body-mind. In the waking state, you wake up as consciousness. So you need to wake up to that higher level, to the reality of what you are, the reality of consciousness. Because right now, you are hearing these words, but you're not a man or a woman. It's not a man or a woman who is hearing these words. It is through maybe the body-mind that there is the hearing, but it's not the body-mind that is hearing. You need to contemplate what you truly are. That's a very important contemplation. You cannot cure boredom and loneliness and all the negative emotions. You cannot cure them through the mind, by going shopping, by drinking, or eating, exercising, listening to television, listening to the radio, or reading the news. You can do a million things like that. You'll be spinning and spinning and spinning, and you're not curing, you're not for a moment addressing the issue of loneliness and boredom. You need to ask yourself, what is it that is bored? It is the person that you assume yourself to be that is bored. But consciousness is not bored. This question will not solve your ailment, but it can help you as baby step. You need to take the baby steps towards consciousness until you arrive to the gate of consciousness and it opens for you. Even if you're taking teeny tiny step, if you continue to take these teeny tiny steps, you are going to get to the gate of heaven. You cannot satisfy the mind with the mind. The mind can only be satisfied from beyond, with consciousness. Via consciousness is the cure of all mind ailments. Okay, having said all that, when you are feeling lonely or bored, turn your attention to the sensation in your body. Locate within your body that sensation of boredom or loneliness. Because there are two aspects to loneliness or boredom. One of them is the thinking that, oh, I am bored, I'm lonely, I'm alone, I this, I that. That's the thinking. And the other aspect is the feeling at the body level. Go to the body level. Don't go to the mind. Don't spin trying to find a solution in thought. Go to your body. Locate that part of your body. It could be your belly or your chest, or just the general sensation throughout your body, where this boredom or this unhappiness is located. It's a bodily sensation. Go to it. If you need to sit quietly in a room, close the door so nobody disturbs you, shut off the television, close the refrigerator door, put away the bottle, whatever it is, and sit quietly with the sensation. Locate it. And once you've located it, just very, very sweetly, very, very gently. Why not? Very sweetly and very gently. Relax. Allow the sensation to expand, to relax, and to be. It's a phenomenal manifestation. It's a bodily sensation. Allow it to dissolve in the space of presence. Allow it to dance freely. Don't think about it. Don't think about what's going to happen to you. You just stay with the sensation, with your entire attention at the body level. Bring your entire body to the sensation. And relax your entire body. Relax your belly, your chest, your back, your shoulders, your neck, whatever you need to do. Just sit in a comfortable chair and just allow the sensation to just be in its complete freedom. Allow it to dissolve in the space that's around it. Allow it to dissolve in the space that permeates it. Do this exercise regularly, whenever you're experiencing these emotions. Don't try to think about this exercise. Don't do it for any expected results. Just do it out of love and a sense of play. Have fun doing it. Find your own way. Find your own way around it. Use that beautiful gift, which is the body and all the sensations and how sensitive it is and how near it is to you. Use it as your garden. Notice the space in which every sensation in your body, no matter how subtle it is, how it's surrounded with space. Okay? So it's again two things. Notice that it is always the me. I am this woman, I am this man, oh, I am this mortal body mind living in time-space. That is the root cause of all the negative emotions. That's at the mind level. And then at the body feeling level, locate the sensation and surrender the sensation to the space without any agenda. No personal agenda, except to celebrate and to enjoy this gift of space and awareness that is given to you. And if you have any further questions about that, please contact me again. Thank you for your question. I'm going to read a question that is in the chat box. It says, while listening to you, 1, consciousness seems to be recognizing itself, and also 2, thought seems to be recognizing this. First, 2 questions. Is the first The first one, meaning consciousness seems to be recognizing itself an illusion of thought. And thus the second one, meaning thought seems to be recognizing this, interfere or stay in the first. Okay. So the answer to your first question is no. Consciousness recognizing itself is not an illusion of thought. Consciousness recognizing itself is a glorious revelation that reveals the only true cognizer, that is consciousness. And consciousness cognizes itself in the presence or the absence of form. It cognizes itself in the presence of form as mind, meaning perceptions, sensations, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and in the absence of thought, it cognizes itself as peace and happiness. So no, it is not an illusion of thought. Your second question, which was, does the second interfere or stay in the first, meaning does the statement that thought seems to be recognizing this stay in the first? Again, the answer is no. Thought does not stay in consciousness. How could a perceived phenomenal event stain or affect in any way that perceives it? And also, no, thought does not recognize anything. Thought is recognized, but is not recognizing. It is perceived, it is known, but it is not knowing. Knowingness does not belong to thought. It belongs to consciousness. Notice that all thought are known by you. They do not know you. Thought does not know you. You know thought. In ignorance, we believe that thought knows consciousness, that the mind knows consciousness. And so we confuse the mind with consciousness. But in wisdom, we recognize that reality belongs to consciousness and not to mind. That mind, thought, sensations, perceptions are the dream of consciousness. They arise out of consciousness. Their substance is consciousness. But consciousness is completely free of them, while they, meaning the thought, thoughts, sensations, perceptions, the mind is not free of consciousness. Depends on consciousness, needs consciousness, requires consciousness. But consciousness does not require the world, body, mind. Well, I hope this answers your question. If there are any other questions, I'm glad. So, Michael, Ananda, you're asking, is there some sort of sentience in thought? Yeah, you could say that there is. It depends how you define sentience. Bodies are sentient. There is the vegetal, the animal, and the matter. What is the third one?
Minerals.
Mineral. Yes, excuse me. Thank you. Those forms. So the vegetal and the mineral, and then there is the animal, the human and the animal. There are different degrees of sentience. Yes, so it goes from the lower to the higher, from the mineral through the vegetal to the animal. It goes from lesser degrees of sentience to higher degrees of sentience. So at the human level, the animal level, this organism, which is basically a mechanism, let's say, is sentient, meaning it displays certain characteristics of mobility, expression, sensitivity, sensibility that are higher than the vegetal, and higher than the organic levels. But still, the main point that needs to be understood is that all levels of sentience still are at the phenomenal level. They belong to the phenomenal level. They do not belong to consciousness. Okay? Consciousness is different from sentience, because sentience is still phenomenal, while consciousness is noumenal, non-phenomenal. So if you consider that thought is a certain vibration of the human organism that can be detected via certain sensitive equipment and can be observed in various parts of the brain and so on and so forth, yes, you could sort of classify thought within the package of human sentience. But the main thing to understand is that consciousness belongs to a totally different realm. Actually, it's beyond this entire conversation, which is at the phenomenal level. Yes?
I put another follow-up.
Oh, yes. Does it borrow a taste of consciousness, being that it is ultimately of it? Well, what is not of consciousness? What is not of consciousness?
But thought is so peculiar the way it comes. It seems to be at least a cousin of consciousness. In terms of being objective. Have a taste of subjectivity somehow.
Well, you know, even more, let's say subjective, if you want to use that term, closer to to our experience than thought is sensation.
Sensation's even closer.
Yes, because thoughts,
Interesting.
they're so fleeting, and yet the sensation, the me sensation or body sensation is closer than thought.
Mm. Mm. Oh, that's interesting to put them. Yeah, it's Western mind that is so
Yeah,
concerned with its own.
notice, you know, to explore that. Explore. You will find that the body, at the body level, at the sensation level, is the bulk of what grabs your attention. Much more so than thought. At the feeling and sensory level, much more so than thought. Thought is just constantly flowing in 3-4 seconds. You forgot what was, what you were thinking about, and then you think, okay, now when I feel like having a watermelon, and a second later, gee, I want to watch this on television. It's just,
How about a sophisticated philosophical? Is it thought, or what is it that makes us be able to talk about consciousness even?
Oh, it's love. It's love. That's love. It's love. That's the interest in consciousness comes from consciousness, not from thought. In other words, there is a grace. There is a consciousness. There is a peak into consciousness. Consciousness sort of goes. It sort of flashes. It flashes. It's magnificence, and that is when we get hooked. We get hooked, but it's a very nice hookup. It is,
and then mind or thought comes up with poetry.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's actually not thought that's coming through poetry. Poetry is downloaded from beyond. It's downloaded from.
That's where it comes from.
And the body mind is the instrument. It's like your hands play the violin or play the guitar or play the piano, but mind don't. You see, so it's really not the hands. It's what comes through the instrument. Yeah, so it's a download from beyond. The creative, the beauty, and all the beautiful inspiration is downloaded directly from consciousness. It is a consciousness expressing itself and celebrating its glory in the dream world.
Ah, beautiful. I love these resolutions to things. Mind, thought, and it's just all the currents are like that.
We give too much importance to thought and not enough to consciousness that makes thoughts possible. I mean, what is a thought, no matter how magnificent it is, without consciousness? It's absolutely meaningless. A thought is just like nothing. It's nothing without consciousness. So we give too much importance to thought, and the reason why we rely so much on thought is that we've made the assumption, that we are a body mind. In other words, we've already defined ourselves to be a thought structure, because a body mind is a thought structure. We started with this thought definition of ourselves, and so we locked into the thought, the field of thought.
Yeah.
And so we navigate the field of thought as this free flowing bundle of belief structure that's zooming through space, spinning in a field of thought, and sensation. Because we don't just assume that we are a mind, we assume we are a body mind. So there's also sensation becomes of great interest to us, but the way we experience sensation in ignorance, we experience sensation as feelings, as me. There is a me attached to the sensation.
Yeah, feeling, me and sensation.
Yes, it's a sensation with a me in it. It becomes a feeling.
Mm.
So when we detach the me from the feeling, then it's just a sensation, a neutral sensation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, there's so much psychology and everything based on feeling. Let's really get into the feeling.
Yes. Well, often we believe that our way to peace and happiness is through massaging our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And massaging our feelings it works because it makes us feel good, but only temporarily. We have to keep massaging it. So if you keep massaging your feelings, you get worn out.
Yeah. Or feeling them fully. What about that? That's
feeling fully. Maybe I can look at this in a different way than just put it differently. So to come upon a fullness in your experience of anything, you have to come to a certain stillness.
Yeah.
When you come to stillness, from stillness, as stillness, then whatever is unfolding, you can call it a feeling, or you don't need to call it anything. You can call it a sensation. You don't need to call it anything. Whatever is unfolding then sort of blooms in the stillness. And what's very lovely is that as it blooms in the stillness, it dissolves in it. Which is different from fully experiencing your feeling, because in the standard psychological realm and psychotherapeutic realm, the notion of fully experiencing your feeling assumes a me, and I am going to my feelings to fully experience them, but still the me remains on board. It is not. It's quite different from the stillness of presence.
More like a vision quest almost.
Yes.
Which can go on forever, I think.
It maintains the me. If you take the me along, then the me is maintained.
Yes.
And there is no happiness in the me. Well, I think it's really important to come to that understanding that there is no happiness in the me. That happiness is in the peace. Is not via a body mind. It's not via a belief system or a thought structure or an experience. That peace and happiness arise out of presence. They are substratum of presence. That it is presence itself that is peace. The stillness of presence, the openness of presence, the deep listening quality, effortless listening quality of presence. So in order to fully experience whatever is arising in your life, whether it's feelings, emotions, thoughts, it's really important to listen from a place of stillness.
Mm.
And to listen from a place of stillness, the mind has to come to an understanding. The understanding is that I am not a mortal body-mind. Because as long as the belief that I am a mortal body-mind is on board, there is an agitation and there is a contraction because the fear of death and the concern about what is going to happen to me. And when there is this sort of contraction and agitation, there cannot be the stillness of presence. The space is agitated. So it is important to contemplate and to come to the understanding that I am consciousness, I am the aware presence, and not a body-mind. That the body-mind are events that I as consciousness perceive. I perceive, for example, bodily sensations. I perceive thought. I perceive a memory. I perceive a perception, a tree, a flower. But I am not a perceived object. I am not the sensation that I perceive. I am not the tree that I perceive. I am not the thought that I perceive. I am the awareness, the consciousness that perceives the world, body, mind. And this consciousness that I am has no borders. It does not start at the tip of my fingernails and at my heel. Consciousness does not have a location, does not have a size, does not have a focal point. It is an open space of presence, has no edges, no limits to it. So therefore, it cannot be contained in any container because it has no borders. It does not start anywhere or end anywhere. So if it's not contained in any borders, and I am this open, aware presence, then what is this personal impression? This personal impression is just my dream. It's just an impression that's arising on the screen. But the images that arise on the screen, they don't stain the screen. They don't affect the screen. They just come and go, like the gurgling of a stream. So that is the path to peace and happiness. And when you arrive to that realization, then you are in that space of presence. You are that space of presence. And that's a listening space. That's an open, effortless listening space that does not have any effort in it. It's not trying to do anything. It's a celebration of love and beauty. Like right now we are here together in this meeting. It's so beautiful. It's a celebration of love and beauty. We are together, being together and looking at each other and enjoying this exploration and this contemplation together. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's the word satsang comes to mind.
It's very beautiful.
Full, it's true, truth. Yeah.
Very beautiful. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ananda. Yes.
And next time, I hope you have a little more light. I turned on a light in front of me as well.
Okay, I will.
See me.
I will care about that next time.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So, if there are any questions.
I just want to make a comment.
Yes.
A brief comment. The interactions I had on Facebook of just words back and forth, I knew them to be true, but in this more connection, it's even more just wonderful. So I want to say that. Thank you.
Very nice. Okay, Tommy. Thank you, Tommy. I am sorry for our friends who were not able to join. I had read previously that there is a limit to how many people can join the Hangout. It's the first time that some folks who are trying to join were not able to. Maybe in the long run we'll find another venue besides the Hangout by which we can be together this way. Okay, well, if there are no more questions, I want to thank you for your presence and for your lovely company. It's very happy to be together this way. It's very lovely, and looking forward to seeing you next week. Yes? So blessings, and see you soon.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you.
Magdi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.